Hey everyone, it's Zach back with a new mortgage video. Hope you're all having a happy Thursday. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, where I'll try to demystify all things mortgage related. If you find this content helpful, please like and subscribe. So now that it's been exactly 1 month of Donald Trump's presidency, I wanted to shoot a video on so far how the Trump administration has affected mortgage rates, kind of following up some of the videos I did when he was first elected, how he could potentially affect mortgage rates and what has actually happened so far and what could happen in the future. In one of my first videos, I talked about 3 things that I thought could impact mortgage rates coming from the Trump presidency: tariffs, tax cuts, and cutting in government spending. How the first 2 would likely be viewed as inflationary and the latter would likely be viewed as positive. And even early on, there was a lot of news coming out from Musk and Ramaswamy when he was part of Doge about how they planned to cut government spending, and it really didn't move the needle for mortgage rates. The only thing on that end that really has moved mortgage rates at all has been the initial nomination of Treasury Secretary Bessent. His initial nomination and then his swearing in both were received well by the markets. Mortgage rates improved. Everything that Musk has done, which has been pretty substantial in the last month, none of it has really impacted the bond market or mortgage-backed security market. The one thing that has been tariffs. Tariffs, and specifically the actual passing of the tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. When that was announced on Friday, that immediately led to an uptick in mortgage rates. But then the next week, when they were pulled back on Canada and Mexico, that led to some improvement in mortgage rates. Other than that, really nothing has moved the needle that substantially. The tax cuts, there has been a bill that's posed which would add $45 trillion to the deficit, I believe. That didn't really move the needle that much. So far it's been tariffs and specifically actual policies implemented that has really been the only thing. Talks of tariffs hasn't really mattered much to the bonds market. The way I look at this is the markets, they are looking at the probabilities of different policies. Just like I talk a lot about the current market probabilities of rate decisions, whether we're going to get a rate cut in June or July. I think the markets are looking at the policies as to what is the most likely outcome right now. Based on new information, those probabilities can change. I would say that right now, the market is expecting tax cuts. And based on how the reaction has been, they've kind of always been expecting these major tax cuts. With tariffs, it seems to be the most up in the air as to what is actually going to go into effect. It does seem that they are clearly focused on what is actually passed, and even the things that do get passed, considering the pullbacks, I think there's going to be a little bit of a grain of salt taken with those. But I think the general sentiment seems to be that we're not going to get nearly as harsh of tariffs as Trump has talked about. And looking at his first term, we saw this back then as well, where he was talking about much more aggressive tariffs than we actually got. As far as the cutting to government spending, I think that the markets clearly have signaled they don't think Elon Musk is legally capable of making these dramatic sweeping changes that he has been proposing. And the Treasury Secretary, Bessent, that is who they view as the one having the real power. So what he says, Bessent, that is, if it's more aggressive than he had initially talked about when he was sworn in, I think that's much more likely to move the needle for mortgage rates. Because there's no question that if Musk were actually going to implement these kind of dramatic cuts to spending that he has talked about, that would be a positive for mortgage rates. The fact that they haven't really moved at all suggests they don't think that is likely. As always, if there's any new developments on this front, I'll put out additional content. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot them below, or you can call, text, or email me. But thanks for tuning into this video, and I will see you next time.